Summer breeze, fresh water, salt water, watch out, boys. Fast Daddy Don's gonna make some noise. Me and the boys gonna shake, rattle, and...
Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman, the man that fears no fish, Bass Daddy and Tournament Pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, guess what day it is? It's Maple Bar Day. Have you had your Dunkin' today?
I got my sugar rush in. I'm good. I'm
yeah,
loaded.
man. Hey, welcome to Shake, Rattle, and Troll today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to visit with our good friend Martin Rhodes here and try to get an explanation out of him why he made his wife ride a bicycle 250 miles, John.
You're mean.
You know, he started talking about this law enforcement bike week, and I'm thinking, yeah, cops on scooters. You know, that's what they do. And then yesterday, I find out they were bicycles.
Big difference.
Martin Rhodes, welcome to the show, brother.
Good morning, Don. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
I'm going to apologize in advance on anything that we do to you. You know, it's going to be something we just, right now, we don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah,
I probably had it coming.
Okay.
Maple Bar Syndrome.
yeah, it's good stuff. Then we're going to talk to, very soon, Captain Bill Wilkerson runs the sport vessel Malahini out of H&M Landing. Find out what the yellowtail are doing. They're biting and going to the grill. And then we may talk to Rick over there a little bit later in the second hour. As always, our Rim Country Custom Rod Fishing Report at 8:30. And today, a little bit of sad business roll call for June 22nd. Right before the close of the first hour, we have 5 soldiers to honor this week that were KIA in a mistaken identity friendly fire incident. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Martin, welcome back. What's happening in your world?
Well, for Police Week this year, Mary and I went to Chesapeake, Virginia, did a 250-mile bike ride for Law Enforcement United.
I have to apologize. I honestly thought you guys were doing motorcycles.
Now that I've done it, that probably would have been a better idea.
I thought he had his wife do it for him, but you did it as well.
I did it as well.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
How many weeks did it take?
It took 3 days.
250 miles?
250 miles.
Wow. That's a 75-mile day every way.
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
Woo. That'll keep you pedaling.
Get up on the handlebars and go, man, go. Where did you actually start from and end up?
We flew into Norfolk, Virginia on the 8th of May. We started in Chesapeake. First day ended in Richmond, Virginia. Second day in Stafford, Virginia.
Well, that's all pretty flat land back there, isn't it?
No.
No.
Now here's
just saying.
Here's the thing that got us. When we saw it, we thought, this is a perfect opportunity for us to raise money for what we believe in, be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And the way it was sold to us, you thought it was pretty easy. They said the first day, 110 miles, pretty flat. Okay. Second day, there's hills, but they're doable. They're not that bad. Third day,
Nice.
you start out, there's a couple hills, and then it's flat into D.C. Okay, I'm on board.
Nice.
Wrong. There isn't a flat spot in Virginia. The only flat spot in Virginia was where I stopped. Yeah, where I stopped to rest in between the hills. We were either going up or we were going down. It started from the Jordan Bridge. I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of the Jordan Bridge. I had never even heard of the Jordan Bridge. When I lived in Norfolk, Virginia, you had Hampton Bay Bridge Tunnel.
Yeah.
And then there was another bridge that took you to Jersey. It was like a 17-mile long bridge. Never heard of it until you see this thing. We weren't 6 miles away from the hotel, and you see this bridge, and it's unbelievable. They say, I didn't measure it, but they say it's an 18% incline.
Ooh.
They say that if you were to enter the bridge on one side with less than a quarter of a tank of gas in your car, it will stall on the bridge.
Really?
Well, I don't know
if it's a Trius.
Yeah. Wow.
So That was our first climb, and we never stopped climbing from there, all the way into D.C. Nothing but hills. I approached it like, okay, the Jordan Bridge is a good warm up, and it'll be pretty flat. So when people needed help, I would push. I trashed my legs in the first 15 miles, and it was nonstop from there.
The first 15 miles from 110 leaves 95 to go.
Correct.
Oh.
Yeah, it was painful.
I don't know what you're laughing at. You're just as insane as Brother Rhodes is.
Yeah, well, mine I only do 3 miles, but it's all on pedal. It's not on pedal power. It's all on my knees.
No, it's Mount Ord with bears.
Oh, that's fun stuff, though. That's cool. Yeah. I guarantee you I understand the incline levels, and that is not fun.
Yeah, it was a little different than what we expected. Had I known that, I would have trained more for the hills, but I didn't.
Get a motor.
Oh, there
That's
we go.
That's what I'm thinking. Harley Davidson all the way.
Yeah, man.
Pat Daddy did us favors. Look at this. Here's a picture of the Jordan. Oh, it's only 5 miles long. 5 miles. Well, there is a degree of incline there. Did they shut down the bridge for you?
Yes. Yeah, we had police escort the whole way, and there were certain parts they had to reroute us through certain areas because of construction on the freeways. But the Jordan Bridge they had shut down for us.
Nice.
And it was painful.
Did you do this midweek?
No.
Weekend?
Well, May 10th. We started May 10th, so I think that was a Saturday morning, Friday morning, Saturday morning. It's the 10th, 11th, and 12th of every May.
Wow. Yeah. I see you coming out of somewhere. Up.
Martin.
Yeah, it's a lot worse than it looks in the picture.
Give us some idea. That was Law Enforcement United bike ride?
Correct.
Okay. What's the purpose behind all of this?
Law Enforcement United is a nonprofit organization made up of active duty police officers and survivors of families who have lost an officer in a line of duty death, been killed in the line of action. Mary and I, my stepson Travis Murphy was a Phoenix police officer. He had been with Phoenix Police for 4 years, just about 4.5 years. Shot and killed in the line of duty on May 26, 2010.
Yeah.
It completely changed our lives. It changed our normal changed forever.
Yes.
And through the healing process, we've met some fabulous people, fantastic people with the COPS organization, with the 100 Club, and with Law Enforcement United, which I'd never even heard of before. And Team Arizona, probably some of the greatest group of people I've ever met. And I said, when we get to a place in our lives where we can start breathing again, I'd like to be a part of something like that. And that's where we decided we'd like to raise money for the COPS organization. Mm-hmm. Because what the Law Enforcement United, they'll raise funds for Police Week every year. And they'll have a fundraising campaign where they start raising the money before they do the bike ride. They do it to honor the officers that have fallen in the line of duty, and they also do it to ensure that the families who have been left behind, the survivors left behind, aren't forgotten, and that they have a support system behind them forever. And I was like, yeah, we want to be a part of that.
Does it work?
Yes, it does. The money that law enforcement...
You guys were 4 years into your rehab, your loss.
Oh, yeah, you never get over it. You will never get over it. There's just different levels of coping with it. What we liked about Law Enforcement United is the money that they raise, 100% of what they raise goes to the Officer Down Memorial page to ensure that the officers who have been killed in the line of duty are honored and not forgotten. And then the money they raise goes specifically to the Concerns of Police Survivors organization, but for Kids Camp. Kids Camp is huge. Yeah. Because these kids, they grow up and the schools, the public school system doesn't understand it. They don't know how to deal with it. And a lot of the counselors out there don't understand it. The counselors that they have for these children at this kids camp specialize in this and help them to rebuild their lives.
Yeah, anything short of that, it's like going to see a marriage counselor with issues and having a marriage counselor that's never been married.
Correct.
They've got the theory, but they don't get it.
Correct.
God love them. Bless their hearts.
And that's why we wanted to be involved with that, because of that. My granddaughter is 6 this year. She'll be able to go. This will be her first year.
Nice.
Going to Kansas. I think they're going to East Troy, Wisconsin. It'll be July 28th through August 3rd. It'll be her first trip.
Bugs.
She was 2 and she lost her dad then.
Yeah.
Yes, she was 2 and her brother was 2 weeks old.
Okay.
So
crazy stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to. We talk about the military guys, and all of the first responders fall into this group. The the policemen and firemen and so on and so on. But there's not a lot of support. We do roll call. I think we're up to 152 Arizona soldiers that have been killed in action, and countless number of wounded guys. But once roll call's over, it evaporates.
Right.
I've taken issuance with Governor Jan Brewer. They'll hang the flag at half-staff on a Thursday for a day.
Right.
And pretty much over.
Yeah, it became very real for us.
Yeah, it is. We'll follow up on that. I'm Don McDowell here with
JK.
And
Martin Rhodes.
We're going to see if we can get a hold of the good captain of the good ship Malahini, see what's going on over on the left coast. We'll be right back.
I feel my confidence slipping away. The preacher man says it's the end of time, and the Mississippi River, she's a going dry. The interest is up and the stock market's down, and you're only getting mugged if you go downtown. I live back in the woods, you see.
All righty, we're back. While we're looking for Captain Bill aboard the Malahini, they may be out of range for a short time. I think the last time we had them on a sat phone. Here's what's going on briefly. The three-quarter-day boats out at H&M Landing had 66 customers yesterday aboard 3 boats, 61 yellowtail. I'll skip all the bottom fish, 130 barracuda.
Whoa.
Which is real fun. Real fun.
Oh, yeah. I've caught barracuda.
Yeah. And then some of the other stuff. The Sea Adventure 80s, 2 days into a 3.5-day trip, they have 22 anglers on board, 16 yellowtail, 1 bluefin, and 160 yellowtail.
Really?
Nice. Yeah. Those are good numbers. Top Gun 80s, another good vessel, 2 days into a 2.5-day trip, 25 anglers on board, 250 yellowtail. Nothing else is being reported. Malahini yesterday had 45 guys, whacked 53 yellowtail, 100 barracuda. So, they dominate around the islands there. Those guys are really into it. And let's see, another the Alicia's running 3/4-day trips now, which I did not know. 14 anglers, 7 yellowtail, 27 barracuda, and some other stuff. The Chief is out on a 2.5 day. Day 2, 28 anglers, again 55 yellowfin, good, 158 yellowtail, and so on and so on.
We're seeing a lot more barracuda this year than we've ever done.
No, not really.
I haven't heard those numbers.
They're seasonal. They're always there, and this time of year in the warm water currents, they pop their heads up and
get hungry.
Free breezing around. Yeah, you can catch them on irons. We'll bring some irons in, some candy bars.
I saw the candy bars.
And then one of the cool things is to take a 3/4 ounce lead head, 5.5-inch replaceable body. And I emphasize replaceable. Yeah. And about a 10-inch stainless steel 7-strand wrap leader.
Barbed wire leader, yeah.
Yeah, and go fishing. And they'll tear your swim bodies up pretty bad.
Sure.
But they just chomp.
Yeah, the barracuda I caught, yeah.
They're
row after row. Look like pike gone berserk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they'll get up. You catch some shorts, but average like a 30, 36-inch fish. Sometimes you get 40s and like that, and they're most excellent for tacos.
Just so you know, Mark, everything he does can make it either a taco or a hot dog.
Yeah, nice.
His food groups are separated into tacos and hot dogs, and the third group is the double Ds. That's it.
Absolutely.
There must be something wrong with me because I do too. I love them. Mahi.
Oh, yeah.
Barracuda. I have had Barracuda. I love it.
Good stuff.
It's really good.
Yeah, a lot of guys don't like to deal with it because John's right. They are like a northern pike. They're sort of slimy. Well, no, they're not sorta. They are.
They are.
Yeah. But it's all good. So anyway, we'll keep you posted on that. Jimmy Dwight, we've got a trip, I think, July 24th on the Sea Adventure 80. Ought to be good.
Got any comers on that yet?
Any what?
Any takers on it yet?
Yeah, I think the boat's pretty well full.
Is it?
I think there's a dozen guys going from Phoenix with a dozen guys that we don't know yet, which is going to be interesting. And unfortunately, we're going to get into the, if they all know what they're doing, I don't have a problem with it.
Right.
If they don't, we're going to get into the full contact fishing.
You know what I'm sending you with, don't
and
you?
I hate that. What?
The cooler's already in the back of the trees.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, not a problem. No, that should be a good trip.
Oh, yeah.
We ought to come back heavy on fillets, and all of it's good. The yellowtail, I would prefer to get into some bluefin, but
you're there at the time of the bluefin. You know that.
Well, the bluefin, they came early this year, and the albacore, I think I've only known one or two albacore that got caught, but I don't know where in the hell they've gone.
Yeah, how far south they were.
Chasing them kelp patty to kelp patty, or
no, yellowtails. You do that with yellowtails. The tuna will follow a warm water current at 40 or 65 degree, let's say. Zero in on
their comfort
64,
range.
65, and as long as you follow that, you're going to do pretty well. Albacore, I haven't checked, and I'll check later on next week, but they should be popping in up at Oregon. If they don't show here, they show over there. Last year they showed about this. They hit for a couple of weeks and then poof, gone. Then they show up in Oregon, and then their next stop is downtown Japan, which is a fatal mistake over there. So,
yeah, you don't return on the current after that.
Oh yeah, that's like being a jelly filled at Dunkin' Donuts. You're done.
You're gone.
Yeah. Do you have any offshore time?
Very little. Very little.
Ooh.
I have gone out. I've done the calico bass and the barracuda and the yellowtail. Years ago, we hired a boat out of Point Loma.
Nice.
To go out for the albacore. Well, they weren't running. Yeah, we did a half day trip. We never saw an albacore.
No,
we had to go too far out.
No,
and
you
couldn't do it
on a half day.
No, not on a half day.
No.
But they could have told us that. But anyway, we caught our fair share of yellowtail. But we've spent a lot of time trolling and a lot of time jumping from kelp patty to kelp patty, trying to pull out yellowtail.
I love jumping patties, boy. Good stuff.
I just dream about it. That's okay. Go ahead.
Well,
yeah,
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
My dream is to go down to the Florida Keys and do some tarpon fishing with a fly rod. That's my dream.
Mine is to go to Alaska and do the salmon.
It's beautiful up there.
Warthogs.
You're going to find feral hogs in Alaska, and I'm on it.
Yeah. I'm all over that. So
yeah, he wants to go to Africa and get a warthog in the worst way.
Well,
he's going.
I do too. We talked about that this week.
We've got the trip. We're going to take Mac Patrick over there, and
I want to see Pat Mac on warthog.
Yeah, face to face with the warthog.
Archery only.
Archery only. Absolutely, that's the only way to go.
Serious.
When I hunt.
Yeah, I know what you do.
I carry a slingshot as a backup in case my rifle fails. Yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to take my BD shooter over there.
Are you really?
Absolutely, I am.
Little marbles in the side, that'll get them giddy up.
Ball bearings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ball bearings leave a dent.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Anyway, yeah, like right now is the time to be booking your trips. July should really be hot. I'm hoping to see the tunas into maybe mid to late October, ideally. doesn't always happen. This El Nino thing is still got the weather guys all fouled up. I mean, you even watch the local. They said, well, monsoon started 2 weeks ago, but we haven't had any. Well, it's 2 more weeks away, but it's there. It's coming up out of the northern Mexico, taking a right-hand turn, headed for Albuquerque in Texas. So,
yep.
I don't know. It kind of bugs me because, as we've talked about, we need water. We need water in Roosevelt, and
we need water
badly.
all over.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm being selfish and thinking about the fish, but
and about 2 billion less pinyon juniper trees would help too. Just so you know.
Yeah, but Randy Wadlow is he hauling water yet?
Yes. Yeah, I saw a couple of the ads. They're doing it. You know, they've got some that they have to do now. There's holes that are dry up.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
All righty, hey, we're going to take a break. If you haven't seen the new 1500 Ram with the Ego diesel, it's at Bill Luke Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram at I-17 in West Camelback Road. Check it out. It's really cool.
I know.
We'll be right back.
Chevron stuck when the Dodge showed up, but the Dodge got stuck in the tractor rut, which eventually pulled out the Ford with some difficulty. A more rain than we'd seen for 1,000 years caused financial joys and biblical fears. It caused some smiles, it caused some tears, but more to the point of our story, for the first time in the collective memory.
All righty, we're back. Oh, wow. Great music today, Jennifer. A lot of stuff going on over there in San Diego. You know, the boats are getting booked right now, and July's probably the toughest time to get a boat. You can go on the party boats or limited load boats. And where'd you tell me you'd fished off the East Coast someplace?
Oh, yeah. Out of Lauderdale.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Caught barracuda that day.
Mm-hmm.
That was exactly a lot of years ago. Just a few decades ago.
Wow.
It hasn't changed.
Yeah, no, it's not going to either.
Chunk, wind, pull hard, you know. It doesn't change. There's an opportunity, if your schedule allows, I can call Jimmy today and see if we got an extra spot on that Sea Adventure 80.
Okay.
Bring your $7,000 and you'll have a lot of best friends.
It's not that.
No, 500.
It's not that bad.
5.
Yeah, I think the 24th's on a Thursday. We'll board about 8 o'clock, pull port at 10, stop at the bait receiver, get bait. We'll be back the night of the 26th, be back here for radio on the 27th.
Really?
Maybe.
Yeah. See, I knew that was coming, the big maybe.
We don't mess around because, generally you can take a nap on the way in. There's nothing else to do. You police your gear.
Yeah, everything's rodded up.
Yep. Get everything put away, and I don't have a problem sleeping on the boat. None. I'm good. And so we hit the dock about 6 o'clock, stop at Santana's, grab a burrito, some Rolaids. Next stop, Yuma. I'm saying.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's a blast. And fishing with Jimmy Dwight, fishing on the ocean is the only place he can be Jimmy. Because you got him on the boat, he's really loud. Yeah, Jimmy, scaring the fish. What? Jim, just calm down. So he gets it now, but
back in the day he didn't.
It was a challenge, and then he went from a. You'll love this, Martin. There were 6 center console Beesmeyers made back in the 60s. He has one. And he hung a 150 horse Johnson on it, and that's the way he started fishing tournaments. Well, like most of us, he didn't like getting passed by other bass boats, and some of us think it's a race instead of a fishing derby. He bought a Bullet with a 250, and their 90-mile-an-hour bass boats stock off the trailer before you start goofing with them. And it took Jimmy quite some time to learn to drive the boat, because you get a boat over 70 miles an hour, it starts doing some weird stuff, and you have to learn how to drive through it and get up on the wheel, push on the gas, and figure it out. Well,
I can't afford the gas for one of those things.
It's
you can't afford a mistake.
Yeah, that's it, literally.
Yes.
Yeah, and we fished Havasu on its maiden fishing derby voyage, and I told you, I said, make sure you get your, break-in time and make friends with the boat and figure out what this thing's going to do. Didn't think anything about it. Met him up at Havasu, hopped in the boat. He said, well, you got it figured out? He goes, yep, rods go right there, sandwiches are over here, and I got tackle up. I said, no. How many hours did you put on it? He goes, I didn't get a go. What?
Maiden voyage.
Our first run was 33 miles, and we pulled out of Windsor Bay, and it was kind of bumpy. And as a non-boater, you're not sure what the boater's doing anyway, and it's not for the weak of heart. And we got about halfway down to through the channels. I said, Jimmy, I don't mean to tell you how to do this, but you need to trim this thing up, push on the gas, let's go. And just about the time, he'd lift it up and you could feel it start to set on the pad, he'd trim it down and let off the gas. I said, Jim, why don't you just pull over right here? Why? What's the matter? I said, I want to tie my marker buoy on my rod so when you flip this thing, I can come back and get my... It was a long day. It was so we made the run, we fished, we had fish. And coming back, all the pleasure boaters are slopping through the channels, and there's 4 or 5 foot rollers going. It's like fishing, or you're trying to ride your boat in a wash machine right there. So it was a long day, let's say. But since then, he's gotten the hang of it, and it's a good way to scare yourself.
Petrify is the term I would choose.
Yeah. That boat's really stable. They've got a really fast haul, some pretty deep turning chines on the bottom, and they're pretty well behaved, but they get a little stupid right about 80. Start doing some weird stuff, and the boat goes to the port side. You need to crack it to the starboard side and find that happy medium, and when it starts to settle down, hammer it. And the paddle.
Do you know what I think of anybody doing over 70 miles an hour on a lake?
Yeah, what's the purpose of that?
First fish.
Get there.
Oh.
Get there when you're doing an hour up the river? Or
well, we've had discussions of late with Enforcement Chief Jim Hinkle. He asked the same thing. Why do you do that? I said, well, I get to fish longer. And then, we're talking about the Eagle closure and opening up the Agua Fria arm and blasting down through the canyon, and that's a bad thing. I think ultimately they're next year, 2 weeks, we have a meeting with the Southwest Bald Eagle Management Committee. And
are you going to finally get in front of the committee?
Yeah, I was told I can't be a member of the committee.
No, no, they don't need that bad stepchild on that committee. It's made up of 21 organizations now, and only 16 are signed on the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding. And my question is, why aren't the other guys? And I didn't get an answer to that. I think somebody forgot, quite frankly. I think all the tribal members will be thrilled to see you at the meeting.
Well, yeah. I said, and that's what, in talking to Mike Robbie, I said, I want the same ability to tell White Mountain Apaches how to run their economic and geographic footprint,
sure,
while they're telling us how to run our Maricopa County footprint.
I think that anybody who votes on any of these things should only be on their regional aspects. I mean, if you have something on, say, Becker Lake, that's fine. That's the White Mountains deal. But if it's something down here in the valley, there's absolutely no point to them having a vote when they're not understanding anything of the geographic location, the economic imprint as you're talking about it, or the lost days. You can go on Becker Lake, and there are bald eagles on Becker Lake. Yes, it's only a trolling motor, but you're still having what you call a take, because you can take your boat and you can be within 15 yards.
You want to explain that for the listeners? Illegal take.
Illegal take is consisting of even quote-unquote worrying an animal. You can go up north and do anything to an animal. It's called worrying it if you change its particular behavioral habits. So if you get too close to an elk or a deer or an eagle and you cause it any form of concern, and it changes their behavioral patterns, it's considered a take. And you can be cited for that take. So, if you got a pair of eagles who are nesting, and you happen to flush them because you went down the Agua River and you flushed them out of their nest, and they abandoned the nest for any period of time, and it's determined, doesn't matter. You've changed their behavioral pattern, and it's considered a take.
I went there with the folks at the game department, and I said, look, your nest watchers are the only ones that are buggering the birds. Well, they have a permit. They have a special take permit.
Exactly. They can go up, climb all over the nest, take photographs, weigh them, pull them out, do anything they want to, monitor how warm the eggs are, and they don't think that's causing any more of a problem for the bald eagles than we are going down the river 300 yards away. Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah, well, the whole thing's changed. Well, the good news is you, too, could attend the meeting. In fact, I would have preferred some
support,
moderation.
The voice of moderation and reason can be there. You know what that means? It means that I have to sit there with the seatbelt and strap him down. And then the muzzle. And then we're okay. Yeah. My little pit bull, named Don.
You get fired up, Don?
Yeah, he hasn't had his meds this week. Don't go there.
This has been going on for, let's say, 5 years, this closure. The Eagles haven't fledged for four consecutive years. And they keep closing the river, closing the river, closing the river. They've built a launch ramp up on the Table Mesa side that doesn't have any water. Won't probably have any water for 2 more years. My question is why? But anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk about something besides things that taste like chicken. I'm Don McDowell. We'll be back.
Bring your truck.
All right, we're back. A lot of stuff going on in the military front this week, and roll call's pretty uncomfortable this week. Martin, let me ask you, over on the private sector side, how many fallen officers do we have in Arizona since a given date?
I don't know the numbers. I know that we average about 140 to 160 a year nationwide. Nationally.
Wow.
We've had quite a few in Arizona, and what they're doing is they're going back in the history, and they're finding others that did not get recognized. So they're constantly adding historical data to the list as well.
Yeah, our society is pretty interesting. I'm going to use that term. I don't mean interesting, but I'm going to leave it go at that. We saw a lot of activity with the Yarnell 19, and rightly so.
Right.
And the police officers and the firefighters seem to take it to the next level. And then when it comes down to the military guys, it's like nobody gives a damn.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I can't track on that. Do you understand?
No, and I think that you and we see colored photos every week of the people who have gone.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why the newspapers, they're dying for any kind of information. Anyhow, instead of the crap that they put into the papers, the Republic should publish the photos.
Yeah, they don't want to cover friendly fire, but they made a 25-minute ordeal out of Starbucks raising their price on Saturday.
Yeah.
Unilaterally, nationally. Not that I want to pick on Starbucks, but
yeah, you do. So do I.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And
they deserve everything they get.
It's unfortunate. We still got about 32,000 special operation guys over there in southern Afghanistan doing what they're doing and trying to get this over with. And I'm not real sure what's going to take place with the recent Baghdad incident. I think we're going to put, last I heard, 300 special military advisors not to engage in competition, but to advise the Afghan or Iraqi nationals how to take care of this. The bad part about it, Tuesday, I like to lost my mind. I'm sitting there watching CNN, changed to the BBC, where you get actually more information that our left-wing guys don't tell us. And here's the Al-Qaeda guys driving our M1 Abrams tank.
Oh, boy.
Armed personnel carriers. They've got 50 cows that we left behind, ammunition to go along with it, and shoulder-fired bottle rockets. And I'm thinking,
why?
I'm not quite.
Any ordnance that's left behind is needed to be manipulated so that it's destroyed, not fireable.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Big melting pot.
Yeah.
Do it.
White phosphorus grenade will take care of it.
Oh yeah, inside an Abrams, yeah, done.
Yeah,
it's not going to run anymore.
Any thoughts before we roll into roll call?
Well, it was I pulled up information on the Officer Down ODMP, Officer Down Memorial page. To answer your earlier question, we've had 243 fallen officer line of duty deaths in Arizona.
In how long of a period?
That goes back all the way to the...
I think that goes all the way back.
Back to 12?
When they started doing this, the census on
Wow. Yeah, it's not getting any easier out there.
Could be any one of the Earp brothers, too, in there.
Yeah.
Well, I believe there was a sheriff from the 1800s that's in there.
And rightly so. Watching a series of cops, and it's always interesting because, usually in their takedown there's a mobile home involved.
Yep.
And a guy who is not wearing a shirt who should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Glendale PD they just filmed. They just got done filming 7 weeks worth of activity with Glendale PD.
Was it cops?
Cops, and they're going to air it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a huge deal.
Fertile ground, Glendale.
Yeah, Glendale.
Don,
absolutely.
are we going to see any photos of you again?
No, sir. No, I'm staying at the house. I'm on a first name. I am on a first name basis with Glendale Officer Bob. He's a pretty cool guy. He comes by instead of writing me a big orange warning ticket. He goes, Don, can you get the 5-ton off the street?
Please.
Please, yeah. Well, I'm just saying. No, he's a pretty good guy. But, it occurs to me, I'm watching these guys on cops, and if whoever they're talking to even blinks wrong at them, there's 2 of them taking him to the ground face first. I mean, there's just like zero tolerance. I'm just saying.
Maryvale should be next. You've got a little corridor going up on that
for
way.
An airstrike. Yeah. That's I grew up over there. Went to high school in Maryvale, and
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Why in the world did you leave Berkeley North?
Why?
Yeah. Do you remember?
At that age, John, it was a have to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Early in life, and I wanted to go back, but by the time I was able to go back with the family and the kids and all that, there was no place to make a living up there, so we stayed down here. And then when we did have the financial wherewithal to get a place in Sedona and do all that, it started changing,
yeah.
And it's like, man.
Don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, the city fathers, right? I don't even want to get into Flagstaff. It's hopeless. It's lost.
Well, yeah, look who's being taught up there. Number one, the kids are being taught, but it's the teachers that you have
Well,
to
when
go
we
after.
come back, I want to talk about the new proposal to put grizzly bears in Flagstaff.
I like the thought. As long as we get 1,000 in California first.
Yeah. All righty, guys. Here we go. This is going to be an ugly one, but it needs to be done. Roll call for June 22nd. All of these 5 soldiers were killed in a friendly fire B-1 bomber incident in Gaza Village, Afghanistan. Our first soldier is Army Private Aaron S. Toppin. Died on June 9th, serving during Operation Enduring Freedom. 19 years old of Wakena, Illinois, died on the 9th, Gaza Village, Afghanistan, of wounds caused by aircraft friendly fire. He was assigned to the 2nd Battalion, 12th Infantry Regiment, 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division out of Fort Carson, Colorado.
Army Staff Sergeant Scott R. Studenmund died June 9, 2014, serving during Operation Enduring Freedom. 24 years old of Pasadena, California. He was assigned to the 1st Battalion, 5th Special Forces Group out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Again, friendly fire.
Army Staff Sergeant Jason A. McDowell died June 9, 2014, serving during Operation Enduring Freedom. 28 years of age, of Butler, Georgia. Died June 9th in Gaza Village, Afghanistan, of wounds caused by aircraft-friendly fire. He was assigned to the 1st Battalion, 5th Special Forces Group, Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Army Specialist Justin R. Helton died June 9, 2014, serving during Operation Enduring Freedom. 25 years old of Beaver, Ohio. Died June 9th in Gaza Village of wounds caused by aircraft-friendly fire. He was assigned to the 18th Ordnance Company, 192nd Ordnance Battalion, 52nd Ordnance Group, Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Army Corporal Justin R. Klaus died June 9, 2014, serving Operation Enduring Freedom. 22 years old of Sprague, Washington. He was assigned to the 2nd Battalion, 12th Infantry Regiment, 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division out of Fort Carson, Colorado. Again, aircraft-friendly fire.
As always, our hearts, prayers, and thoughts go out to these soldiers' families, certainly their units, and in this case, the B-1 Bomber Group. It's not free. Think about it.
Sweat and blood, hide my veil. Rattle and troll.
It's time for the award-winning Shake, Rattle, and Troll.
Yeah, kiss the weather box, grab your favorite poems, me and the boys gonna shake.
A show for the serious fishermen as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros. Shake, Rattle, and Troll, brought to you by Bill Luke Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram. I-17 and Camelback Road since 1927.
Yeah, we got the power, we got the speed, we're running wide open on a midsummer breeze. Freshwater, saltwater, watch out, boys. Bass Daddy Don's gonna make some noise. It's me and the boys gonna shake, rattle, and
now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman, the man that fears no fish, Bass Daddy and Tournament Pro, Don McDowell.
All righty, we're back. Hey, thanks for joining us for the second hour of Shake, Rattle, and Troll. We've got JK in the house here, and as you know from last week, talking about the anatomy of deception, our buddy Martin Rhodes is here talking about the Law Enforcement United bicycle ride. We're going to call it a bicycle ride.
That's a pretty accurate description.
Well, it's interesting. You know, I really don't want an ATV, but I was at Harbor Freight the other day. They have a 5-horse Briggs & Stratton that'll actually bolt onto a bicycle.
Now you tell them, right?
I'm just saying.
They make some pretty awesome equipment. They've got a motor operated front wheel you can put on a bicycle. It costs you. It's about $1,200.
Harbor Freight?
No, not a Harbor Freight. Okay. No.
Don goes to Harbor Freight because
for
everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bolt cutters on up to
they're guaranteed.
Yeah, they make a bicycle wheel you can put on your front of your bicycle, and it's got a battery pack that goes up under the seat post. For $1,200, you can put this on your bike. You can do up to 50 miles an hour.
Battery.
Sounds
like a Prius option.
Yeah, it sounds like an expensive option, but if you need that, then it's available.
You know, you could look really cool. You know, like be all biked out with all your gear and the helmet and everything else, and people think you're pedaling. Your legs can't go that fast.
No.
Donnie and I took the mountain bikes on a couple of hunts, and it's amazing. The deer and the elk stop. They look at you like,
what's
that? Jerks on the bicycle.
I've tried that. It was brutal. I was just as exhausted going back in there. I got in there faster, but I was just as exhausted, and I was soaking wet from sweat. It was miserable.
Uphill with rocks.
I was like, what was I thinking?
Uphill with rocks and roots.
Flat terrain. You know that. Gently rolling hills.
Yeah,
and then the rifle bolt digging in your left shoulder. You know, it's just.
You're supposed to be wearing a backpack that has a slide area for your scabbard on the back of the backpack, like my Eberstock does.
Nah, I didn't have that.
I'm going to wear that till I die. I know I am. That thing is so cool because I can put my bow or I can put a rifle back there.
Yeah. JK, you started exposing the Sierra Club, specifically Sandy Bar, on the anatomy of deception.
It was I read, we've gone to numerous meetings where not only Sandy Bar, but other members of Defenders of Wildlife, the Center for Biological Diversity, they're all claiming that, they're 70% of Arizonans wanted to see more wolves on the ground. And I backtracked through and found out where the survey came from. Surprise, surprise, it's done by a Democratic polling organization based out of San Francisco. And they interviewed all of 300 people to represent 6.5 million people in Arizona.
Amazing.
150 Democrats, 150 Republicans. Nothing specifying age, gender, or anything. So if you were to interview 150 women who are urban dwellers and have never been out, and they're over 55, my assumption is, 70%. Oh, yes. Well, that's a wonderful thing. The questions were biased. They were leading you down the road to the path that they wanted you to follow, and you couldn't help but. So we've debunked this supposed poll that they were throwing in front of the commission and the department at every public meeting they had possible for 6 solid months. Now we don't even have to pay any attention to it because we know it's worthless.
Was there any response from the Arizona Republic or the Payson Roundup?
It's interesting. And, James is going to be on at the bottom of the hour. He sent a little clip in where the Roundup basically recognized the work that he had done to make sure that the commission had recognized and was going to maintain the trout stocking in the Little Green Valley, which is really cool because that's their park there. They do an awful lot of fishing, and it's really good for the community and good for the kids. But I talked to one of the reporters last week from the Roundup, Payson Roundup, and I think they're doing their own investigative stuff. I mean, it's something for me to go out there and say, hey, this survey is worthless. But he wanted to know where it came from. I said, go ahead. Do your own research.
Did you give him a copy of the report?
I didn't have a copy of the report because everybody was grabbing them at the meeting. All the commissioners, our legislative liaisons, Tony Giles.
Tony Giles seemed to be rather shocked.
We'll go over that some other day as to why that stuns me that I was the first person to uncover this stuff. But regardless, at that point, they're thrilled to have it because they're going to take it in front of the legislature next year. Because Sandy made hay with the legislature last year claiming that 70% of Arizonans didn't want any problems with wolves. And now we know that it's basically not true. But we're pushing for it. But the Roundup, the Payson Roundup got enough information from last week's meeting up in Payson with the commission and the department. And by the way, that was probably one of the more well-run meetings I've seen in a long time in a local community.
I thought it was
the presentations were on time. They did everything the right way. Jared McFarland posed probably he has to handle all of the urban interface issues that come up with big game animals in the city, town of Payson.
In Payson.
And it's funny. He knows exactly what happens. As he said, I'll go to the golf course, and if they don't have barriers up, the bulls, any time of year, but specifically during the fall, they play havoc with the greens. They play havoc in the fairways. They'll destroy trees. They'll do anything they possibly can. Half the people go, oh, we love the elk, don't touch them. The other half are going, shoot them. I want them out of here. They're ruining my golf course.
Yeah. I love elk. They taste delicious.
I agree. Yeah. The problem is, of course, is that when you have somebody who claims it's their natural fauna pet, and then an archer tags one in their backyard because it ran into their backyard to expire. Well, Jared is faced with the task of having to go and explain everything. I think the department was very wise in the fact that they chose this 6'6" giant, friendly giant, to go in there and talk to people nicely. He handles it so diplomatically. Someday I know he's going to be in the ivory towers down here on Carefree, but I pray for his sake that he stays out there as long as he possibly can because he's perfect where he's at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like he's doing great work.
Oh, he does.
He does, yeah.
And that man can outwalk most people that I've ever seen. It helps to have 7-inch longer legs than I do.
Yeah, he's like 6'12".
Yeah.
I've hunted with guys that smoke like chimneys that could outwalk me, and I never did understand that. And I considered myself to be in pretty good shape.
You ought to try to follow this Billy Goat around.
Well, I've gone from the bottom of Slate Creek all the way to the top of Mount Ord. And that's 5.5 miles uphill, and there is not a down step along the way.
Wow.
And that took 2.5 hours. So, I mean, it's a rugged climb, but I love doing that.
I do, too.
I can hardly wait till we get to do it again, but it's too darn hot now.
Woo-hoo.
And it's snake infested.
All right, so what's next on your exposing deception?
You know, I've noticed that the Arizona Sportsman for Wildlife Conservation, Jim and Mike, sent a letter into the Republic And, of course, they've chosen to ignore it. And it was our response to defending the commission and the department for the work that they've been doing in terms of having what I will call a moderate response. The Center for Biological Diversity is pushing the Forest Service to have 3 metapacks in Arizona of at least 250 animals each, spread throughout all of the state of Arizona. And we're saying not only no, but hell no. We're going to go for a 300 animal count maximum between New Mexico and Arizona, and with the defining lines being no animals north of I-40 and none of them west of the B line. That gives them a massive corridor.
Clear to Mexico.
Clear down to Mexico, right, which is where they're supposed to be.
And they're free to sneak across the border.
Anytime they want. Anytime they want. But it's historically they've had, 90% of their historic range was in Mexico. Why in the world are they trying to recover an entire species in Arizona? The only logical reason is that they want to see a complete depletion of the wildlife herds that we, the sportsmen, have paid for. They don't want us hunting. They don't want us out there. And that's the easiest way to get rid of us.
Well, now this past week, I've said this before, nobody believed me that there was a movement to put grizzly bears back in Arizona.
We've talked about that. It's there.
It's back.
Yeah.
In a real way. We're going to stand down and thank some of our sponsors, especially Build It Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. World-class body shop, 75,000 feet. If you goof it up, Wally can fix it. I'm Don McDowell with
Martin Rhodes
and
Special K.
We'll be right back.
Baby, ride just if you can. Time to get a move on. We will yell with all of our might.
Catch it if you can. Hey, we got Rick from H&N Landing over at the tackle shop in downtown San Diego where the weather is always nice. Rick, what's happening?
Well, the weather's nice, but the fishing's hot.
It is, man.
Just got off the phone, actually off the radio. Scott McDaniels called on the Sea Adventure 80. He had 43 yellowfin tuna just this morning.
Bam!
And while he was talking to me, he had to go because they got a 6 for 6 on the trolling rods.
Nice.
Oh, no.
So, it's been really good fishing. Bobby came in the Top Gun 80 just a few minutes ago. Their big fish was the 95-pound bluefin.
Good Lord.
These fish are big, and there seems to be lots and lots of them. The 3/4 day guys are killing the yellowtail. And the half-day guys are having great calico bass and barracuda fishing. It is just on. If you want to fish, come on out. This is the place to be right now.
Well, I saw a note on the fish count page that Sea Adventure 2 was on the bluefin at 52 miles.
Yeah, but the easy one-day range for those guys. Nice fish.
That's crazy.
Very, very catchable. But he did say he saw some monsters out there, too. They just didn't get a chance to put any of those on the boat.
Let me ask you this. Were they deliberately targeting those fish, or were they just passing through the area?
No, they were on the way down. Scott McDaniels hooked one about 50 pounds and called into the boats that were on their way down, and they went and checked it out, and they were there.
52-pound.
Yeah.
Well,
that was like a little one compared to the one Bobby had today.
Yeah, you talk about a 95-pound one and just wear you out, JK.
Oh, yeah, they're tough critters. Got a picture of it on our Facebook page if you want to see it.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I do. Pat Daddy, drag it up. We need to see it.
Tell me about Top Gun 80. How do they total out?
It's mostly yellowtail fishing. The way with those bluefin, they have to sneak up on everybody, and the boats that were close were the ones that got them. And there's that middle ground that was a little tougher. 3.5 days we were able to get down to where the yellowfin are. The one-day boats had the bluefin, but the day-and-a-half boats, they were a little bit beyond it. They had good yellowtail fishing and a couple bluefin, but no great shakes. But good fishing and some nice yellows. There was a fish they had was probably about 35 pounds, and that 95-pound yellow was nothing to shake, or bluefin was nothing to shake.
Oh, man.
But well, those were all to be there.
Those are good numbers. How far they have to run for the yellowfin?
Yellowfin are about 160, but there seem to be more and more of them moving up. I know the spotter plane saw a bunch of bluefin coming up, so
nice.
Anywhere from 60 to 300 miles, just big schools, more than last year. So it could be a great scary time.
How are the bookings doing for the boats?
Well, it's getting tighter and tighter to try to find spots,
but
there's still plenty of room. Just got to be a little more selective when you can go.
Yeah, we got about a dozen guys coming over to fish the 24th with Captain Scott McDaniels on the Sea Adventure 80. That ought to be a blast.
It should be fun. There's no doubt. He's been getting them.
Are you going to be able to go with us?
No, I don't think so. And
jeez,
but
Rick, come on.
The 28th, somebody's got to run this place. I'm already sneaking out on the 10th of July, so they don't give me that much time.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. You know, Rick calls in sick about once a week, so.
Well, that's true.
That's all good. How about Dorado? They showing up yet?
You know, there's only been one that I've heard of caught so far, but, you know, it's still just June. Everybody's all cranked up, but this stuff doesn't even start to get going until July usually.
Well, big question that I have for you is we've seen one or two albies whack. Where'd they go?
You know what? I haven't even heard any much noise from the guys up north yet. I was talking to some buddies of mine. They were starting to do the commercial fishing. They're waiting another month before they head out because there's nothing really going on yet. But they're around. You know, it's interesting. I was, you know, everybody's been worried about the radiation and stuff like that from the Japanese issue they had, and we just.
You want to explain that? Hold on. What?
Fukushima.
Yep, a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, it's because they're all nuked from that." Well, I was just reading a report from NOAA, who doesn't really have any irons in the fire as far as that goes, except to predict or report the truth. And they did a survey, and they said you'll get more radiation sleeping with your wife every night than you will eating that tuna. So just from the potassium in her body.
See,
so
she
pays not to get married.
She glows in the dark.
Believe me, radiation is the last thing you have to worry about when you get married.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, I've seen nuclear meltdowns.
Is there a difference between radiation and just fallout?
There's always fallout.
We could roll on this for quite some time.
No,
You've got to go home to one.
I
don't.
Keep going on this conversation.
Yeah, buddy. This is going downhill.
Yeah. But guys, the fishing is really great right now. Every boat's coming in. People are coming in smiling. Lots of fish on the dock. So plan your trips and get out here as soon as you can. Whether you're going half-day fishing or multiple-day fishing, it's going to be a great season.
Let me ask you a question on the 3/4-day boats. How busy are Wednesdays? How full are the boats on Wednesdays?
Well, you know, we're getting out with about 25, 30 people on Wednesdays.
Nice.
And even when the fishing's as good as it is now, they're pretty much whacking the yellows.
By the way, we looked at your website here in studio, and you have got some awesome photos of fish coming through.
It's a lot of fun right now.
And you don't go out enough, just so you know.
I don't think you can go out enough.
Well, here's something you know about Rick. You know, he's got a diet of saltwater fishing all week. He goes bass fishing.
From time to time, but you know, when the calico bass are biting, I'll do my bass fishing right out there.
Oh, yeah.
Up on that half boat. I went out last Tuesday. I was fishing the big MC swim baits, 8-inch swim baits, things like that. Throwing them way up on the canopy, cranking them off, just like fishing frogs.
Yep.
And as soon as they dropped off that edge, boom, bass would bite them.
Nice.
All nice 3-4 pounders eating that big stuff. It was a lot of fun.
It's all good. Well, God love you. You have a good rest of the weekend and enjoy your time off. We'll talk to you about this time next week.
All right, guys, come out and see us. Check our website at 8gemlanding.com or call us at 619-222-1144. Hope to see you out here. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Rick. Good guy. You went out with the striper snatcher.
Yes, I did.
How was that?
It was interesting. It was basically good. Derek knows how to fish for stripers. There's no question. We saw enough boils where the fish were coming in, and they were, you know, you could see the little guys jumping out of the water, and it was amazing to watch. It's almost like a little ripply effect. But they weren't hitting the spoons that we were tossing at them that night. We caught about a dozen. Then we went to the dam at night, dropped down. He submersed his light down there, and it's strange because you're looking down into the water. It almost looked like pool water, except visibility disappeared. Of course, we were sitting at 65 feet of water
at the dam.
Right at the edge where it topped off. We hung up on a buoy there. But he was using anchovies then, and it worked out pretty well. I mean, the bite was there. There was no question. After the light was down there, you could see all the little fish coming, and you could mark the fish underneath the boat. We just weren't getting enough. I mean, it's like anything else. Half the time they were hitting it as it was going down.
Yes.
You know, and you had to feel for the tap, and by the time, if you had a hesitation at all on the tap, you're gone.
Were you throwing Castmasters at the dam?
No, not at all.
Why?
Because he said we're going to go with the anchovies. It was already dark, and he just said do it. I did for a little bit, never got a strike.
Really?
Yeah, never got a strike.
How long were you letting them count down?
5.
60 to 90.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my!
And then burn them back to the boat, best you can. How'd the new rod work out from Rim Country?
The new rod is still virgin. I'm waiting until I can get a proper reel for it.
You can't put down the Snoopy Go-Get or Spider-Man.
I was using the stuff that I was.
What he has is a Spider-Man Go-Get-'em rod that lights up when you reel it.
It's cool.
Yellowfront special? Oh wait, Yellowfront's gone.
No, that
Walmart special?
Oh yeah, Walmart. No, actually, that came from Big Five.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, that my grandsons used that, and they thought it was just to catch me out because I took them out on. We went up to Woods Canyon Lake, and they just thought that ride was the coolest thing. They could care less about the fish; they just like the lights going on.
Yeah.
That's where my grandson is. I spend more time detangling it.
Oh yeah.
Than fishing, but
yeah.
But he absolutely loves it.
Sooner or later, I'm just going to tie off that line to the rod tip, put a hot dog on the bottom, and let them go after crayfish because they just get so enamored with that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just to them, that's cat's meow.
Done that on the Black River.
Good
oh, yeah,
stuff.
You can.
Good stuff.
And, quite frankly, if you catch enough of them, it's a good meal. You drop them into a boiling pot, and here we go.
Caught a lot of smallies on them. We would catch the crawdads.
Oh, and then use them as on the back.
And then catch smallies with them. Beautiful fish.
All righty, we need to thank some of our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to flip up to downtown Payson and visit with our master rod builder, James Guggenauer, and see what's happening over on the Mother Lake.
Well, he's becoming very well known politically up there. You got to watch out. Pretty soon, I'm thinking he's going to run for governor of Payson.
Governor of Payson?
Yeah. The Gov.
We'll be back.
All right.
My old boss thinks I'm sick today. He won't have me to harass. 'Cause I'm out here on the river, and he can kiss my big old bass. Kiss my bass.
All righty then. That can only mean one thing. James Guggenauer from Rim Country Custom Rods. James, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Don. JK, doing great up here.
Hey, I got to ask you, rumors going around you're running for governor of Payson. How true is that?
Yeah, I'd say that I'm a big fan of Mayor Evans, and he just announced he's going to rerun for mayor up here, and I'm in full support of him being our mayor.
Yeah, but we're talking about governor of Payson.
He can be mayor. That's fine. We want you as governor of Payson. You know that.
Oh, there you go.
It's an honorary title. You get no income, but you get a lot of visibility with Payson Roundup.
And you can tell all the lies you want. So,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right, what's happening on the Mother Lake, James?
Hey, well, a couple of things. Once again, the water level's down another 1%. It sounds like I tell you that every week.
You have.
You can keep that in your vocabulary. And what's the percentage of fullness at this point?
45% this morning.
Okay.
And the Hunnell Creek is flowing at 40% of its normal rate. That's actually going up a little bit, but it's not because the flow's going up. It's because the average is coming down. So, the Tonneau has stopped flowing. So we're pretty much in a summer pattern up here. We're gonna see that probably for the rest of the warm months here. Water temperatures are around 80 degrees. They're going to vary from the mid-80s to the high 80s and even into the low 90s by the time summer gets around. But, that's pretty much a summer. The other thing that we're seeing that really supports that is the top water bite that we've been talking about recently. It's in the deeper water. That was just very slight. I got one report of that this past week. So that has slowed to almost zero. Unless there are shad in the backs of the coves, you can still see some top water action and those type things. But most of the guys now have moved out to deeper water, 15 to 25 feet. They're fishing Texas rigs and Carolina rigs, and we're on to our green-colored bait this time of year. Seems like every summer, the green pumpkin and green with gold flakes, whether it's lizards, robo-worms, or anything else that you're fishing, seems to have some kind of green in it. And that was definitely the trend this week. Afternoon bites have been reported better than the morning bites. And one hot spot that is named this the second week in a row now, I heard out at Connor's Ledge, right at the break, which those that are familiar with Roosevelt know that Connor's Ledge breaks off right at 25 feet of water. And that seems to be the hot spot for everybody.
What's the average thermocline Main Lake at this point?
I haven't had anybody talk about the level of a thermocline. We see that a lot more in the wintertime. It's much more distinctive, more talked about, I guess, in the wintertime. But I really haven't gotten any updates on that, John. I'll check into it this week, though.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah. The crappie bite around the marina is still a spot, still at nighttime. We're moving away from a full moon, more towards a new moon. So as it gets darker, I heard J.K. talking about using the lights in the water for the stripers. That'll become more effective for crappie fishing also. And we talk about that a good bit. And that really is an effective tool for our crappie fishermen. When the moon is towards a new moon, those things really do make a good difference for crappie fishing.
Sounds like you're having a good time up there, though. I mean, all the stuff that's been going on, you're still getting your flow of summer visitors out of the valley, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, actually Thursday nights and Friday nights now are really busy up here. I think a lot of companies have gone to an alternate work schedule where they get Fridays off.
Yep, 4-day work weeks.
Yeah, because the traffic on Thursday night now is about what it used to be on Friday night several years ago, and then Friday turns out to be just as busy. The big rush is Sunday, because starting about right now until about 4 o'clock this afternoon, traffic is just unbelievable in the town of Payson. We locals, we stay off the main roads on Sunday afternoon.
Well, we give it to you, let's see, from Sunday night till Thursday afternoon, it's all yours, and then the rest of the time it's taken over by Turista.
There you go. And I feel the same way about our lakes, too, by the way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it is good time. I mean, you can't, the fishing up on the rim has just been spectacular this year. Talked to a local guy who was up fishing one of the lakes up there, fishing power bait. Said he caught 2 rainbow trout that were over 18 inches long.
Yeah, more tacos.
Somebody has been stocking.
Yep.
Those aren't holdovers; those are stockers.
Yeah.
So it's been just if you're an angler, it's time to be up here and get up on those lakes. It's cool up there in the morning. You need a sweatshirt first thing in the morning if you're up at 8,000 feet.
Yeah.
Catch a limit in 3 hours, and by the time you're ready to take the sweatshirt off, it's time to get off the water.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. That works for me all the time.
Yeah.
I love it being up there at first light. 4:45, you can fish.
Yep. Fun time for sure.
James, are you ready to enter the cornhole contest there at Green Valley Park on July 5th that Matt Azell and Bill Luke and Town of Payson is putting on?
Well, we normally have a big family celebration on 4th of July, but
this is on the 5th.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on the 5th?
Yes.
Oh, maybe I'll bring a family team down or something to enter that.
The only problem that I've seen is that I don't think you drink enough beer in order to qualify as one of those experts, because those guys have elbow bends from the beer, and then it's the same bend that they use for tossing.
I don't know. Are they going to have beer at Green Valley Park?
Oh, come on. You got to be kidding me.
I don't know.
They have to.
I don't know.
Those guys can't function. Cornhole tournament players cannot function without beer. One goes with the other.
So it's kind of like bowling on the grass.
It's called ballast. Yeah.
Okay. and we saw that at the Bill Lou Big Bass Days.
Oh, yes, we did. Oh,
yeah.
my goodness. I sold the beer, so I know exactly who the winners are.
Yeah, but here's the bad news for Paysonites. Those expert cornholers are coming to Payson.
That could be a ringer.
Altitude sickness.
Well, and what I've learned in the Tonal Basin area, cornhole is extremely serious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing, the horseshoe thing. They're doing cornhole.
Ooh.
Yeah.
A big-time sport. I was down at Green Valley last night. We hold there's a summer concert series, and it's free. And people from the local area go down there. So we went down there and listened to a band last night. There had to be 1,000 people sitting there at that amphitheater.
Oh, that's an awesome place.
And the one person that I could hear talking and laughing from about 100 feet away, Dennis Perch.
Yeah.
Well, you said you were going to hear him.
You got to love that guy.
Yep.
We need more guys like you and Dennis Perch, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
the world would definitely be a better place. In Dennis's case, there'd be less whitetail.
By the way, you got a lot of kudos from the department and the commission people for your presentation at the commission meeting. It was very well prepared, very well presented, and historically, that is the way to approach the commission for change. You have your facts, you have your sets, you've done all the research. Yes, you've paid your dues in terms of the time, but you've gotten enough of a manpower behind you, enough constituents involved, and you came forward and you made your case very clearly, which always impresses them. And number two is that they can't defeat it because they don't have anything to go against it with. So,
exactly.
You did a great job. I was very impressed with it, and I know as was the department and the commission. So congrats on that, James.
Well, great. Appreciate the kind words, Jake. Hey, in fact, I sent an email to Chief Cantrell so we could follow up on some of those actions and see how we can actually start to get them implemented through the fisheries department.
Yeah, keep his feet to the flames.
Yes, sir.
Well, he's been up on the Virgin River on a rotenone and poisoning issue, so we'll definitely get him re-engaged on Monday. So,
yeah, 30 was out of town.
James, you have a good week, brother, and thanks for all your good hard work up there. Duly appreciated.
Thank you, Don. Thanks, JK.
All right, James Guggenauer, RimCountryCustomRods.com. Check him out. Got to have one. We're going to stand down and take a break. When we come back, Martin, JK, and myself, we're going to get this thing wrapped up and go finish our maple bars.
We're going to talk wolves.
Yeah, wolves.
Just be 7 wonders of this big.
All righty, we're back. Hey, thanks for joining us today. We've had a lot of fun today, and time to go sport fishing. We're going to kind of lead into what we're going to be talking about next week. Martin, I want to thank you for coming down. Next week we have Alan Kudak, a fellow that I know in Missouri was one of the first responders to 911, is going to be on the phone visiting with us, and you're welcome to come back anytime. In fact, we'd like to see more of you.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.
JK, on this deception issue, I think we're going to be talking to J.D. King, not next week, but maybe the week after. You've had some discussion with
Jim Beers.
Jim Beers, how'd that work out?
Jim's probably... I know for a fact there are government people who would like to see him buried permanently in a place where he can't talk to anybody.
That never happens.
Yeah, really. I would not be surprised if he disappears someday, seriously, because he knows where all the skeletons are. I had a conversation with, again, we've interviewed him on this show, about 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
He could talk for 5 hours and not barely cover just the tip of what he understands and what he knows about what the federal government did. And I talked to him because I watched the piece by J.D. King on Crying Wolf.
Martin, this is where I get put on a watch list because of what he said.
It's called passion. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, J.D. King did a very good job of analyzing the wolf reintroduction into Yellowstone, where it went amok, where there were supposed to be maximum of 70, grew to over 1,600, and how their expansion has basically destroyed a population. And eventually he comes to the only conclusion possible, and that is this was never about wolves. This was about getting people off the land, getting rid of hunting, getting rid of people out there. He did a great job. I talked to Beers and I said, look, everything I've seen, we know that there has been an infiltration within Fish and Wildlife as well as the Forest Service as well as parks. These people are all green. They don't want hunting. They want to protect. And it's called preservation rather than conservation. And there's a huge issue with that. You are not utilizing the resource at all. And these are people who don't want to see people enjoy that which they have paid for over the years. And quite frankly, I talked to Jim and I said, where do we go? What do we do? The only solution we have in our hands at all is a grassroots level movement in which we include, you start small, the towns, the little cities, you build it up into the counties, and you have them resolute in the manner in which they approach the federal government. And quite frankly, we need a strong county government backing along with the state to back us. And we're going to have to sue the federal government. There's no question, because if they try and do what they want to do, we're going to get wiped out. You can't put 1,000 wolves in Arizona. You can't put wolves up on the Strip. You put wolves up on the Strip, the prime deer herd in the United States is going to be gone, and in no time, because there's a delicate balance that we have up there already. And if we put 100 top-line predators, there won't be a necessity for humans to be out there because there won't be any deer.
No, 3 years, the deer are gone.
Yeah. So J.D. King's a young guy. I watched a lot of his film work. Fabulous photography. Certainly understood the issues, and he interviewed the right people. He interviewed the ranchers. He interviewed some of the government officials, and Jim Beers was fascinating. His story is so compelling, but also it's so ludicrous that you think this can't be right, but it's true. The way things went, he testified in front of Congress. Nobody has the chutzpah to go after the feds. State governments are now afraid of the federal government. They're not saying, excuse me, where is that $60 to $75 million of Pittman Robinson money that was never supposed to be utilized for wolf reintroduction? You were supposed to be funded by Congress. Congress wouldn't do it, so you stole the money and you never gave it back. The states didn't go after it. They didn't dig hard enough to get their money. That's where the issues come from. That's the voice of moderation and reason.
Till next week.
We
have a questionnaire from the AZSFWC getting ready to go out to congressmen, senators, and I've suggested to President Unmock we send it out to our governor's candidates for the upcoming election.
Absolutely. And while we as a nonprofit cannot support any particular person or candidate in any kind of an election process, we can, however, be educated as to what their stance is on any particular issues which are near and dear to us. Individually, we can make our own determinations as to who we're going to vote for. But if we can say to somebody, okay, this candidate says they will support hunting, this candidate says they will support wolf reintroductions, make your own decision accordingly.
Well, I'm looking for the guy, and it may be Scott Smith, that stands up and says no to the feds on on the forest front and the wildlife service front.
Bless her heart. I know there's a lot of people who poke fun at Governor Brewer, but she did a really good job of trying to maintain the integrity of states' rights against the federal government. She didn't always come across the best, and certainly her finger waving was politically non-correct.
I think on that finger waving issue, let me interrupt for a second, but we're getting how many Nicaraguan and Guatemalan kids in here?
At the border every week? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's too freakish to be not pre-planned. You know it as well as I do. Just like the ocelot that appeared suddenly in Arizona. That
was an airdrop.
Exactly. Yeah.
Martin, you can jump up here at any time. Please.
You can just take me off the podium right now.
No.
Calm down, John. Take my meds, too, on the way home. No, between J.D. King and Jim Beers, There's enough information out there. And the sad thing is that his movie should be playing at local theaters. I know it's hard for distribution. I understand the necessity of that. And politically, he appeals to us, which is 8 to 9% of the population.
The masses aren't going to go watch that.
No, that's the problem. The masses don't understand it unless you can point out that there are billions with a B of their taxpayer dollars that are being wasted on these nebulous things. The logic of, and quite frankly, it's the logic of humans have no more rights than animals do anymore. And that's historically, you go back in time, you look at India as a country. India is 70 to 80% vegetarian. Okay, you don't touch animals there. Historically, and through religious leaders in the past, there's been always a crest and a wave of people who say man has dominion over wildlife, or those who say they're sacred animals. Now we're in a time frame where there's about 8 to 9% of the population that says you shouldn't kill anything. And
they go to Starbucks.
Well, they go to Starbucks, but they also control the government right now.
Yeah.
They control the Fish and Wildlife. They control the Forest Service. Those are issues that we have that are really critical for us in the future.
Have you heard anything on the investigation and possible reduction of the EAJA money?
It's funny you should ask that. I was talking to Congressman Salmon, and I said, it's a honeypot that's being raided.
Yep.
And Congressman Loomis out of Wyoming, at least she had the smarts to start.
She's got it.
Yeah, she understands that it's been a cash till that the Center, Sierra Club, National Wildlife Federation, and Center for Biological Diversity, and the Humane Society of the United States have been just lining their pockets with.
They've been raping it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and this is billions with a B. A billion here, a billion there. Sooner or later, you're starting to talk some serious money. And that's what's happened, and Congressman Loomis knows it. I talked to Congressman Salmon, and he indicated he understands it, but it's like anything else. Once you start waking people up to it, as the population becomes aware, just like the Humane Society, they lost a suit. They settled for $15.8 million against Ringling Brothers.
I thought that was 24.5.
Well,
we're missing 10 million here.
It could be. I remember. It was a combination between Humane Society and ASPCA. Yep. ASPCA paid theirs in advance. Okay. They knew they were going to lose, but it was $24 million.
They've got that kind of money. Go figure.
No. Yeah. Well, it's time for those people, the sweet little old ladies and retired people who contribute regularly to the Humane Society, under the big lie that they take care of little animals and little shelters, which is not true. I feel bad for the Arizona Humane Society because they're constantly going to have to start fighting the fact that they're not tied to the HSUS. But they have millions of dollars, and all of a sudden their people are going to start seeing these releases where they're sued and they lose because this is all propaganda machine and it's all politically motivated and has nothing to do with caring for animals. And they generated a lie, and not only they got caught with it by paying their informant, and the informant knew that he was paid to do this, to jury up the stuff that was truly not there. So basically this was all a big convoluted process in which they lost. Now it's time for all those contributors to say, wait a minute, Humane Society in the United States, this has nothing to do with animals. No. This is a political machine that's setting an agenda, and Wayne Pacelli, who is the president, his agenda is to rid every state of hunting in his lifetime. That's what we're fighting.
Want to join us?
Absolutely.
This is what happens when you eat a maple bar.
A maple bar from Dunkin' Donuts.
The sugar rush is on high.
That was 8 minutes, 45 seconds without a breath.
Raw, uncut
emotion.
Or a breath.
Well, he's absolutely correct. And, our agenda here is to start exposing some of that to protect the things that we built, the things that we like to do. So, anyway, we're going to get out of here. Jeff Gordon sucks.
No, he doesn't.
He's going
Mike, you're on it. You're on it.
He's got to get past Danica Patrick that qualified 10th. I'm just saying. There'll be some bumper rubbing there.
I hope so.
Anyway, check out the new SRT website. Martin, God love you. Thank you for coming down. And
thanks for having
best to you and your family. JK, always good. Jennifer, great job. I'm Don McDowell.
Special K.
Martin Rhodes.
Take your kids fishing, hug your bass boat. Get a chance, shoot a wolf. We're out of here.
Amen.